Look like someone has any question. So we'll start with our today's topic where we are going to discuss about route table. Now, what is route table? Route table is with the help of route table in Azure, we can reroute our traffic. Now, what is route table? Route table is with the help of route table in Azure, we can reroute our traffic. By default, we can connect our machine, whatever the machines we have in subnet A. By default, I can connect to subnet B machines. It's a by default system router. We can't restrict by default that I can't connect from A to B. It's by default because it's in the same network, so we can connect. But if you want to put some restrictions, then we need to create a custom route. So we don't want that VM A and VM B will connect to each other. So if you don't want that particular connection, we'll create a route table. And with the help of route table, we from subnet A, we can only connect to subnet central. And then from subnet central, we can connect to subnet B. I'm repeating again, by default, we have a connection between subnet A and subnet B. But if you don't want the connection, then we use route table, and with the help of route table, we will make the connection that subnet A to connect to subnet central, and then from subnet central, we will connect to subnet. And why we are doing these things? Because of the security reasons. Because of security reasons, we are going to use route tables. Make sure all three subnets are in the same virtual network. And for this particular example, our machine needs to be different subnets. In one single subnet, if you have machine, then there is no option that we can restrict them. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a resource group. But here I'm getting one virtual network. I want to have one subnet. Let me edit the subnet name. Adding one more subnet. Adding one more subnet here. Plus create. Some time. Yeah. So we are able to create our virtual network. Now what I'm going to do is now I'm going to create virtual machine. Source code VMA. Go to networking tab, virtual network, subnet A, review. So we are creating a machine in subnet A. Now let me create a machine in subnet B also. So I have created a machine VM A. Now I have created a machine VM B also. Now let me try to connect to VM A. So copy, open, accept, Azure user. We are able to connect to our VM A. Now we need to connect from VMA to VMB. And whenever we want to connect from one machine to another machine, we are not using public IP. At that time, we are using private IP. So I need a private IP. And here is that command. With the help of this, we can connect our machine with the help of password. With SSH, I have shown you in previous sessions. This time I'm showing you with password. So name is Azure. Ask me for password. I'm able to connect. If you see here, I'm able to connect from VM A to VM B because by default we have that particular connection, but I want to disconnect this connection. I don't want that we can connect from VM A to VM B. So that's why we are going to use route table. To use route table, first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one more machine in our subnet C. Username, password, in subnet C, table plus create. Now, after that, I need to note down the private IP of my subnet, sorry, virtual machine C. So that will be 10.0.2.4. This will be the private IP. Because Azure is going always as per the sequence wise. So as per the sequence, here are the private IP. Now, now I'm going to create route table. So search route table, click on create. Resource group, name of our route table, name can be any name. I'll give us route 149. Review plus create. Click on. In this one, we just need to give a resource group name and the name. That's all. And whatever the things which we require that we need to do after creation of our route. And go to resource. Next step. Next step is we need to go to routes. And here we need to add the particular route. Click on add. Enter the route name, route name of 49. Destination type, IP address. And here I need to give the destination. In destination, I need to give the IP address of my virtual network. And then I need to select next hop. Now, what is the meaning of next hop? Next hop means next destination. That also needs to be virtual appliance. And in virtual appliance, I need to give the IP address of our subnet C. Virtual machine. I have given the next destination here. Now what I need to do is I need to link this next destination with our subnet. So go to subnets, associate. Okay. Go to overview. Here I'm able to see the details, the next destination. And from where this next destination will work? Only from subnet A. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit this VMB machine. It's going to get hang. So let me create a new section. What the public IP? Open. Enter my username. Password. Now I'm trying to connect again from VM A to VM B. If you see here now, nothing is going on. Why? Because for VM A, the next destination now always be a VM C. We can't connect to VM B right now from VM A. It's not possible now. I'm going to do Control C. Let's try to connect our VMs. See, on this part it is asking, are you sure you want to continue? I press yes. I'm able to connect to VM C. And then from VMC, I can connect to VM. Here it is asking, are you sure? Yes. Enter the password. I'm able. Now we are not able to connect from VM A to VM B. We can connect to VM A to VM C, and then from VM C to VM B, we are able to. This is what we have all about route table. Route table is just used to read out our traffic. Yes, Kumar.
Now we are able to connect A to C, C to B, then B to A we can connect or not?
We can connect because there is no disconnection we have set there.
Okay.
Let's say example, if don't have a public IP of that machine, then we can't connect.
Okay. See, in that routing table, we have to add in the subnet of A and subnet of C, correct? Only.
We didn't add subnet C there, Kumar. We just give the IP address of our virtual machine.
Okay.
Okay.
In that virtual appliances scope, you have added one of that IP, right? That
IP address of virtual machine C.
Okay.
Not the subnet.
Okay. Subnet A and virtual IP of C you can give, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Anyone have any more questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah, please explain me one more. Could you?
What you are
Why
not
can't
able
connect?
to understand, please
Yeah,
let me know.
why can't connect A to B?
Because we have created route table, because we have disconnected that connection with the help of route table. That's why we are using route table.
So what about the next series? From C2 we connect D or C2 we connect to E?
From C, from wherever you can connect, because by default the connection is there. Under the same virtual network, you can connect anywhere. But from A now, I can't connect to B. Or even now I can't connect. Let's say example, I'll create one more subnet, D. And in that one, I have a machine. Even I can't connect to that also now. Because for subnet A, whatever the machines we have, all machine will have the next destination always as VMC. This is the diagram which actually I showed you. Now this is the connection which we have done. We have disconnected the connectivity that from A to B we can't connect. Okay, but now
Okay.
if I create one more subnet, under that subnet I'll create one more machine. If I try to connect from VM A to that particular one, even that is not possible. The next destination for this particular subnet is always this machine.
Acha, from C2 we connect to that new server,
So
right?
from C we can connect anywhere. Here also we can connect. Here also I can connect. I'll create one more. I can connect there also. Because by default that connection is there for single virtual network. Okay.
Okay, got it. Got it.
Okay. So let's check the next topic which we have. Service endpoint. Now, what is service endpoint? Service endpoint is actually we can call it a backbone of the Azure network. Now, what is the use of service endpoint? With the help of service endpoint, we can give the connectivity to few services that particular services can access only from that particular subnet. Like we have a container. If we give public access to our container, we can access that also. But if you link that particular subnet to that particular container, that particular container we can't access publicly after. Even we can't access that particular container from our Azure account also after that. That particular container only access by using that particular subnet. So how it's going to be connect? By using Microsoft Azure backbone network. That particular container will not have the public access. Now, to learn about this particular topic, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one storage account first. And under the storage account, I'm going to create one container. And to that particular container, I'm going to give the public access. Storage account. Type. Sorry, wrong resource. Wait. So we have created our storage account. And till the time system is creating a storage account, I will create one virtual network. check the IP address. I have one single subnet. Click on source. Now I'm going to create container. Containers. Container. And I'm giving the public access. I'm going to upload one file here. Copy the URL. Paste. I'm able to access this image. I'm sharing this in the chat box also with you guys. And I'm requesting you to please open and let me know, confirm me. Are you able to see this image? Yes, you all are able to see this image right now because this particular image is having the public access. If I give the private access, then we are not able to access. But right now I'm able to access my container by using my Azure account. But once I link with that particular subnet, I can't access publicly. So for this one, I need to go to my storage account. Scroll down. Here we have something called networking. Enabled from all network. Another option is disabled. Completely we are going to disable, so no, we can't access from anywhere else. And the third option is enable from selected virtual network and IP address. It means that you want that particular storage account access only from that specific IP address, we can mention that. Or if you have any specific resource type, we can mention that also. Or the third option is we have an option that we can mention the specific virtual network also. So click on add existing virtual network because we already have. This is my virtual network. Under this, I'm going to select a, and see here in the bracket what is mentioned, service endpoint. As per them, it takes 15 minutes to complete. But it is not taking 15 minutes. Done. So we have added. Click on save. Let me go to my subnet. Scroll down. See here. In my subnet, in service endpoint, system has added our storage account. In my PPT, I have just mentioned only 3 services name related to service endpoint: storage, database, app service. But if I show you the list, here is the full list we can use. We have more than 3 services. Click on save. Now again, I'm going to my storage account, going to my container. I'm trying to click on my container name, and when I'm trying to click on my container name, I'm getting an error message. I can't access this particular container now from my Azure account. I'm going to refresh this page. Error message. Why I'm getting error message? Because we have created service endpoint, and because of that service endpoint, now we can't access this particular container from our Azure account. And we can't access those state services by using public access also. Any question anyone have regarding service endpoint? Please let me. Yes, Amit.
So service endpoint is restricting public access, right? To all these resources that are being given, like 3 resources here and many resources are there. So
It
in
is
real-time
restrict-
scenario, yeah.
It is used only that we want that particular resource only from that specific subnet.
Okay, so in real-time scenarios where these are used,
Whenever we want that particular resources needs to access only from the specific subnet. Like database, for database we can use whatever the resources we have that only the from our particular subnet we can access. And under that particular subnet we have machines, and under that VM whatever the application we have, it can only access from that particular application. So where we are giving the complete private access to our application, they can access these resources.
so on the network side, we can also restrict via network security groups also and service endpoint also.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone have any more questions? No questions. So, yes, Kumar.
Yeah, now we able to that a service endpoint, we have to keep that container, correct? Again, we can revoke that, correct?
Yes, if you want, we can do that. Just change the network settings. Storage account we can access.
Okay. Yeah,
Container we
storage-
can't access.
Yeah,
Storage
that
account we are can access.
Yeah,
Just,
in
just
that-
change the network settings. You can access again.
okay.
Okay.
Wherever we enable the service endpoint, we have to revoke that, then again we can access, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So let's check the next topic which we have. DNS zone. Undirected systems. Okay. In Azure, we have a service called DNS zone. Before understanding of DNS zone, we need to understand what is DNS service. DNS is a phone book of the directory where it stores all the domain details, And with that domain which IP address is allocated, that particular details are getting stored in DNS service. Whenever a user is going to open any website, let's say example, he's going to open Amazon.com, where the first request is going? The request is going to the DNS server. And then from DNS server, it is going to check the IP address allocating to that particular domain name. And then that particular IP address come to our browser. And then from our browser, again, a request is going. What is that request called? HTTP request. And where it is going, this request, can you please let me know what is this server? What we call it, this server? Please say your answer in the chat box if you're not aware of that. Because we have already learned this particular point, what the service called, server called. Correct. This server is called as web server. So previous sessions, we have learned about web services. And then from web server, we are getting a response called as HTTP response in our browser. And then we are able to see our website. And this particular response we can see within fraction of seconds. Within fraction of seconds, we can see this particular response. Now, in Azure, Azure is not providing the DNS service. Azure is not providing the DNS service. Azure is providing DNS zone service. Which companies are providing DNS service from where we can purchase the domain names? But in Azure, there is no option that we can purchase a domain name. There is no option. So the company who is not providing that from there we can purchase a domain name, that company is not providing the DNS service. That is why in Azure, the service is named called as DNS zone. So it is going to create a zone in between of DNS server and our web server. So whenever a request is going from the customer browser, the first request will come to our DNS zone. And then from our DNS zone, request will go to DNS server. And then it will again send back with the help of our DNS. So in between of this connection, there is one zone is going to be created by the Azure. It is not going to impact any of the performance, but here we need to use those DNS zones. So it means to learn this particular topic, the domain which we require, we can't buy it from Azure. There is no option. We need to get the domain from any third-party company. You can get this domain from any of the third-party company. We have multiple third-party companies. We have, like I have given you Freenom also, which I got information. It's not working from last few days. So you can try it again. If that is working, you can get a domain from that particular website also. But I already have a domain name which I'm going to use for this particular one. I already have purchased from a service provider called Hosting.